there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and I've got Zephyr here with me today to talk with you about a young adult book that has just recently come out that I read, I loved, and I cannot wait to share it with you today. Now, I was really excited about this book when I heard it was coming out. It was one of my most anticipated YA reads of the year for a couple different reasons. The first one is that it is by a well-renowned young adult author whose work I've read before and really love. And also just because when I read what it was about, it just sounded so intriguing and incredible that I knew no matter who wrote it, I was going to have to read it. So I was so excited when it finally came in. I read it. I had high anticipation for it. I felt like the stakes were really high, right? Because I was really excited for it. And it did not let me down in the least. So what is the book that I am talking about? It is Heir by Sabaa Tahir. Heir. First of all, this cover is stunning. It's simple yet beautiful, right? It's just stunning in its simplicity with the rolling blue clouds and the mountain and the figure on the mountain and the gold type. Now, this was also a young adult Good Morning America book club book, which I don't put like a whole lot of stock into those things, like when they're selected, but in this case, I think that they did really choose a good one. So, Sabaa Tahir is the author of An Ember in the Ashes series, which came out a few years ago and was absolutely fantastic. It was a 4-book series. I absolutely thought that series was so good. It's been a while since I read it, but it has always stuck with me because of how fantastic it was. So when I heard she was coming out with a new fantasy book, I was really excited because the previous book that she came out, we talked about before, which is All My Rage, which is also a fantastic book, but that was a contemporary fiction, and I was excited to see her go back to her original roots of fantasy books. So what makes this book so special? A lot of things. So first of all, it's told from 3 different points of view, and it deals with a lot of different themes like family, love, friendship, overcoming not just huge obstacles like grief, but also fighting against greed, colonization, the effects of one nation, invading another, stuff like that, because war is a forefront topic of the story. So like I said, there are 3 points of view in this book. You have Quill, who is the crown prince of this one region, okay? His aunt is the empress, and even though he's the crown prince, he kind of wants to step away from that role. He does not want to rule, mostly because his father was a tyrant, and he knows that people associate him with his father, unfortunately, even though he's nothing like him, and he's afraid of ruling because he doesn't want to be anything like him, even though his aunt, the Empress, really believes in him and knows he can do a good job. You also have this other character named Eyes, who is basically this, they're called snipes. They're like orphan young people who are taken care of by the convents in this other region of the world. And her people, she watches them just basically being starved. They have very little resources in their area, and she knows that she has to do whatever it takes to get her people out of this situation. And then you have the 3rd point of view, Saoirse, who is a tracker from yet another part of the nation, and she's been exiled from her people, and she is just trying to make a living as being a tracker, basically using her magical abilities to find people. So all 3 of these people, all 3 of these characters obviously come from very different backgrounds. They have very different histories, different cultures, different families, stuff like that. But they're all going to be linked in a really interesting way. So basically, in the start of this book, Quill's kingdom is attacked, and it is attacked by Eyes' kingdom. And he escapes the palace with 2 of his friends, but he knows he has to do what he can to save his people. Eyes, like I talked about before, is trying to save her people from destitution. The people in her land believe in this holy martyr called Div, who they believe will save them one day, and that will have this one acolyte who will definitely bring the people out of the situation they're in, and Eyes believes that that person is her. And then you have Saoirse, who is been tasked with finding this killer who is murdering all these young children across all the nations, and she's been tasked with hunting him down. So all three of these characters are very important in their own way, and their paths will cross and intermingle in ways that are very, very interesting. And I can't really say more about that now, because when I first started to understand where this story was going, it absolutely took my breath away. I could not believe it. I was like, this is so incredible. I never saw this coming. It's amazing. So like I said, there's a lot of different themes in it. There's a theme of colonization, a theme of greed and war, and the cost of war on different peoples, and also other themes that are, you know, like family and love and connection. And it's absolutely amazing. So I will say that this book takes place in the same world as the Ember in the Ashes series that she wrote a while back. Do you have to read that series before you read this one? Absolutely not. It's been years since I read that other series, and there's a lot of the stuff I don't remember about it, and I didn't need to even go and refresh my memory or anything like that. There are a couple characters that were in that series that appear back in this one, which if you have read that series before, it will be like a little fun Easter egg that will make the enjoyment of your reading even more enhanced, but it is not necessary at all. This is a standalone book. It's just basically set in the same world. So even if you've never read anything by her before, jump in. You will absolutely love this book. And of course, I have to say, the writing is fantastic. Even if for nothing else, I think this book stands on its own in terms of its amazingness just in the writing alone. This is top tier YA writing right here. So if you're looking for a really great fantasy by an author that is absolutely wonderful, look no further than Heir. Okay, well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that this book sounds really awesome and that you're super excited to read it. I'm really happy to be able to have talked with you about it today, and I know I'll be thinking about this book for quite some time to come. So you can pick this book up at Farmington Community Library at either location. And thank you so much all for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.